chosen one. You are not standing in an ordinary hour. You are standing at the edge of eternity's decree. This day, Sunday, the 29th of June, 2025, is not just a date inked on human calendars. It is a divine threshold, a heavenly verdict, a line drawn in the spirit where what was shall no longer remain, and what must be shall begin. This is not a soft turning. This is a sacred collision. Heaven is not suggesting change. It is declaring it. And your name has been written into this moment since before time began. This is not a second chance. It is not a gentle reset. This is a holy rising. Everything before this day was preparation by divine fire. What felt like loss was formation. What felt like wandering was alignment. And what lies beyond this hour will not be left to chance. It will move with supernatural force. The winds of acceleration have begun to stir, and they will not be stopped. You are not starting again. You are stepping into the coordinates of heaven's design for your life. For too long your feet have pressed down upon ground that felt like weight, not promise. You've walked through seasons where the silence of God was more deafening than any storm. You've wept prayers into pillows, questioned your own discernment, wondered if heaven had grown still. But it had not. It was planning. It was building. It was waiting for this precise hour. And now the veil that covered what you could not name is lifting. What was hidden is being exposed. What was withheld is being released. The spiritual atmosphere is no longer quiet. It is trembling. You are not caught in chaos. You are caught in divine orchestration. There is a surge in the spirit, a magnetic pull, not from emotion, not from chance, but from the will of the living God, drawing you into what cannot be undone. Let this be clear. This moment is not about worldly readiness. It is about holy alignment. The key is not perfection. It is preparedness. And preparedness does not look like performance. It looks like surrender. It looks like peace in the storm, stillness in the stretching faith that sees movement before manifestation. This is not a moment for spectators. It is a command. God is not merely near. He is in motion. He is calling. He is opening a door that leads not backward into regret, but forward into promise that predates your pain. You may not have seen this coming, but your soul did. In secret, it was learning the rhythm of heaven. While the world told you to perform, to chase, to compete, God was stripping you of false strength. While others celebrated the surface, you were being rooted in depths they could not see. In silence, in surrender, in the long nights, no one witnessed God was anchoring you. This was never weakness. This was never failure. This was divine craftsmanship. This was the strategy of a wise and jealous God who refuses to elevate what has not been purified. There is no going back to how things were. The old identity, the one that made you shrink, stay silent, and make others comfortable, it no longer fits. That version of you was never the final design. It was only the cocoon. Now the wings you've grown in darkness must fly in the light. This is the emergence. This is the unveiling. This is the moment God has been shaping you for. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are precisely where God needs you, fully yielded, deeply refined, and finally ready. The readiness that matters most is not physical or intellectual. It is spiritual. Your spirit knows the shift before your mind can grasp it. Your soul has been receiving instructions that logic cannot interpret. The Spirit of God is awakening your divine instincts, urging you to walk by faith, not by sight. Trust Him. Trust the invisible pull more than the visible delay. Because this is not about convenience, it is about covenant. And God always honors covenant. Do not mistake this beginning for something you must earn. You are not arriving empty-handed. You are stepping into this moment carrying the weight of wisdom, the treasure of trials, the scars that became sacred blueprints. What the world tried to call failure, God has used as foundation. Every delay you endured, every prayer you whispered into silence, every night you spent wrestling in the dark, it was not for nothing. It was spiritual training. It was divine refinement. It was heaven preparing you for such a time as this. You are not behind. You are aligned. The pain you thought disqualified you has actually qualified you. The endurance you didn't know you had has become your authority. The discipline formed in delay is now the structure that can carry favor without it crushing you. The 29th of June is not the start of your striving. It is the manifestation of your surrender. It is the moment where everything internal finally finds external reflection. You are not entering this day as a beggar of blessings. You are arriving as a steward of promise. This moment marks the convergence of alignment and acceleration. And acceleration does not wait for your comfort. It obeys the call of divine timing. The wind of God does not check your calendar. It moves when heaven commands. And heaven has spoken, now is the time. This kind of momentum cannot be faked. It cannot be fabricated. It is the divine push of the Holy Spirit propelling you out of stagnation and into your appointed place. You do not need to strive anymore. You need only to step, not in fear, but in confidence. Not as someone still trying to prove their worth, but as someone who finally knows they carry it. The God who saw you in the cave now crowns you in the open. The God who kept you in silence now calls you forth with fire. You are not carrying empty hope. You are carrying fulfillment. You are not praying for miracles in desperation. You are walking into the atmosphere where miracles recognize you. You are not chasing a calling, you are becoming it. There comes a moment in every chosen life when the former self can no longer be carried forward. The 29th of June is that moment. The expiration date has come for the version of you that once survived by shrinking, by staying silent, by making yourself small so others could feel secure. That chapter has closed. That costume no longer fits the fire now alive within you. That identity crafted in fear, conditioned by rejection, shaped by wounds, is being burned away by the refining flame of God's timing. As C.S. Lewis reminded us in the collected letters of C.S. Lewis, Volume 2. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. But this is more than a new dream. This is a divine unveiling. What is rising in you is not a reinvention. It is a return to original design. The shell that helped you survive is now being broken so the true self can breathe. Heaven is not handing you a second chance. Heaven is handing you the version of yourself that was sealed in eternity, now awakened by the fire of divine timing. You have likely already felt the internal shift, a holy discomfort with the roles you used to play, a deep weariness in pretending you don't see what you now see so clearly. You are not imagining it. That discomfort is divine. That restlessness is sacred. God is not trying to return you to who you were. He is calling forth who you have always been hidden beneath the layers of survival. You are being summoned by destiny itself to rise into the version of you that heaven authored, not the one life distorted. That whisper inside the one that says, "Its time is not emotional. It is eternal." It is the Spirit of God awakening you to the fact that the hour has come, the veil is lifting, and you can no longer delay your emergence. The world will try to greet you with old expectations, but you do not owe anyone an explanation for your evolution. You do not need to justify the shedding of identities that were built in seasons of pain. You are not who you were, and that is your divine power. God has been preparing the unveiling, and now the unveiling demands the release of all that once confined you. Do not apologize for your transformation. Do not fear your rise. This calling is not an ambition, it is an assignment. The former version of you helped you survive, but the one stepping forward now, this version carries the anointing to lead, to build, to speak, to liberate. You are not stepping into favor to be seen. You are stepping in because it is your rightful place, marked by God, preserved in silence, now revealed in power. What you are about to witness is not recovery, it is resurrection. What once felt lost is not simply returning. It is returning in a higher form, in a holier frequency, restructured by the hand of God Himself. This is not the restoration of what you thought you needed. It is the release of what heaven always intended for you. Your finances, your purpose, your relationships, your voice, your vision. Every realm of your life is now undergoing a divine rebirth. And it is no accident that this unveiling begins on Sunday, the 29th of June, 2025. This day was not randomly selected. It was divinely appointed. It is not a moment of chance. It is a sacred convergence of time, obedience, and readiness. You will not have to guess when it begins. You will know it. The signs will appear. The language of heaven will become more familiar. Conversations will carry unexpected clarity. Doors that were once walls will quietly unlock. Encounters will reveal more than what is spoken. God has trained your spirit to interpret what eyes cannot see. The shift is no longer coming, it is here. And because you have been made ready in private, you will now walk in discernment publicly. Your perception has changed. Your soul sees with sharper focus. No more begging for signs. No more enduring atmospheres that starve your spirit. No more waiting for others to validate what God has already confirmed. That deep inner knowing you carry, that sacred confidence that tells you who you are and whose you are, that is your compass now. In this new beginning, clarity becomes your covenant, and alignment becomes your protection. You will no longer ask to be seen, because now you see yourself, and that self-perception, rooted not in ego but in divine identity, shifts the rhythm of your entire life. You no longer chase, you align. You no longer plead, you receive. You no longer settle, you rise. Everything about this rebirth is spiritual before it is visible. That is why you must walk not by sight, but by the still sacred light God has lit within you. The 29th of June is not just your beginning. It is heaven's declaration that your time has come. You are stepping into more than a new chapter. You are stepping into sacred momentum, the kind that does not knock or ask for permission. It moves with the force of heaven's decree. For so long you adjusted, dimmed your light, held your tongue, and shrank yourself so others could stay comfortable. You kept peace at the expense of your power. But that version of you has fulfilled its purpose. It no longer belongs where God is taking you. The momentum of the 29th of June is not gentle. It is holy. It is fierce. It is irreversible. The identity now rising from within you is one heaven kept hidden until the time was right. This is that time. This is the unveiling. This is the emergence of the one God entrusted with weight, with voice, with fire. You have felt the stirring for weeks, months, even years. Something in you aching for more, sensing that something sacred was building beneath the surface. That ache was not anxiety. It was prophecy. That pull you felt, it was divine permission. The timeline has shifted. The atmosphere has cleared. And the hour is sacred. You are not just stepping into a new season. You are stepping into the spotlight of divine purpose. And this time, it will not pass you by. The time of hiding is over. The anointing on your life can no longer be ignored. What you carry is no longer waiting to be discovered. It is demanding to be revealed. And yet, you didn't arrive here by striving. You didn't force this opening. You were faithful. You were silent when misunderstood. You were still when heaven said, wait. You carried the assignment without applause. And now, without needing to raise your voice, your favor will speak for you. Without needing to chase the door will swing open. Without needing to prove your value, you will stand in it. This is what it looks like when divine alignment meets sacred momentum. You are being accelerated not because you fought for position, but because heaven reserved a position for you all along. You're not stepping into what you earned. You're stepping into what was always yours by design. Your voice is returning not just in sound, but in authority. The silence you endured was never emptiness. It was incubation. The restraint you practiced was not weakness. It was consecration. And now the restraint is breaking. The divine hush is lifting. Your voice is being restored by God, not just to speak, but to shape atmospheres, to shift rooms, to call things into alignment. What had been withheld is now being released, not in fragments, but in fullness. You will speak and mountains will move. You will declare, and dry places will awaken. Because your voice is not just sound, it is a carrier of heaven's frequency. Your direction is being clarified. Your atmosphere is being cleansed. Everything around you that once felt heavy is now being lifted, not because the weight disappeared, but because your strength has grown, your discernment has deepened, and your spiritual authority has matured. What once intimidated you now bows to the Christ within you. What once drained you can no longer access you. The enemy's whispers are being silenced by the clarity of your call. You are not returning to the past version of what was lost. No. What is being restored is higher, purer, holier. God is not recycling old blessings. He is birthing new ones that match who you've become, not who you used to be. Your relationships will align with your revelation. Your resources will match your responsibility. Your visions will be backed by heaven's wind. This is not a repeat, it is rebirth. You are seeing now why it all took so long. Heaven was not building quickly. Heaven was building deeply. And because God builds with legacy in mind, He could not release it until you were formed enough to carry it without collapse. You are not fragile anymore. You are fortified. And now, Sunday, the 29th of June, marks not only a new path, but a holy commissioning. You have been sent, and the earth will now begin to respond to your presence accordingly. The restoration you are stepping into is not loud, but it is loud in spirit. You will not need to announce it. Favor announces itself. Anointing confirms itself. Divine authority reveals itself. And you, chosen one, are walking in all three, not because you demanded it, but because you were faithful when no one was looking. What once felt foggy will now become clear, not because the path has changed, but because you have changed. The veil has lifted. The confusion that used to blur your discernment has been replaced with divine clarity. And this clarity is not shallow, it is spiritual. It is sharp. It is the kind that doesn't ask for signs because it carries conviction. It does not beg to be validated because it is already rooted in truth. From this moment on, clarity will be your compass and alignment will be your armor. No longer will you remain in places that deplete your destiny. No longer will you hope to be seen by those who refuse to recognize the oil on your life, because now you see it, and in seeing it, you rise. That vision of yourself that once seemed too bold to believe, that identity that once felt too radiant to wear it, now fits perfectly. You are finally walking in your God-given image, no longer bound by the opinions that once confined you. Your rhythm has shifted. Your posture has changed. You are no longer chasing anything. You are aligned with everything. You are no longer knocking on closed doors. You are being led to prepared ones. You are no longer surviving on hope alone. You are walking in fulfillment. There is no more striving, no more proving, no more negotiating your worth. Heaven has already stamped your name on this next level. The page has turned. The story has shifted. You have crossed the threshold. Everything about this new beginning is spiritual before it is visible. It is real before it is recognized. And Sunday, the 29th of June, marks the moment when the unseen world begins to echo into the seen. You chosen one are now equipped not just to sense the shift, but to walk in it. The false self has fallen away. The divided heart has been made whole. And now you are not led by pressure, you are led by purpose. God has not given you this clarity just so you could move forward. He has given it so you would never look back, because what lies ahead of you demands your full presence. This clarity is not a luxury, it is your assignment. And as you walk, not everyone will understand. Not everyone will approve. But clarity doesn't need agreement. Clarity walks with God, and God alone is enough. The past will try to greet you, to lure you back into roles, rhythms, and relationships that no longer hold your spirit. It will whisper old names. It will stir old memories. But you are not obligated to answer. You owe nothing to the version of you that survived in silence. You owe everything to the one that is rising in truth. The world may remember who you were, but heaven recognizes who you are. And it is not their memory that defines you. It is God's marking that seals you. You do not need to explain your elevation. You do not need to soften your glow to protect fragile egos. The light now breaking from within you is not ego. It is evidence. It is the manifestation of years spent hidden, growing, healing, dying to the former, resurrecting in the fire of divine timing. You are no longer here to be tolerated. You are here to take territory. This is not about being accepted. This is about being activated. Everything that tried to define you by pain is now bowing to the truth of your purpose. Stillness was never stagnation. It was sacred formation. Rejection was not abandonment. It was protection. Delay was not failure. It was preservation. You were not being punished. You were being prepared. God was not hiding you out of cruelty. He was hiding you out of covenant, because what you carry cannot be casually exposed. It had to be protected until the day appointed. And now that day has come. The veil is torn. The hiding season has ended. The revealing has begun. And it will not be subtle. What is awakening in you is too powerful to be ignored. You do not need to shout to be heard. Favor is loud, even in silence. Anointing speaks even in stillness. Power announces itself, even in a whisper. And now the whisper inside of you is becoming a roar before the world. Sunday, the 29th of June, marks the beginning of a new orbit around your life. The alignment is personal. The blessings are custom. What is coming is not recycled. It is tailored, matched to your assignment, designed for your soul, prepared for your pace. You've been through too much to believe this is hype. This is holy. This is what it looks like when a life that has been pruned in pain is released in purpose. You are not chasing anymore. You are attracting. You are not asking for a place. You are claiming what was always yours. This is no longer about being seen. It's about being sent. No longer about waiting for permission. It's about walking in divine release. What is shifting on Sunday, the 29th of June, is not just circumstantial, it is generational. This moment is not just about your future, it is about every lineage tied to your obedience. You are not only being elevated, you are being entrusted. Heaven has placed a mantle on your shoulders that carries the weight of deliverance for those who could not name their chains. You are breaking cycles in silence that others could not even identify aloud. You are rewriting bloodlines. You are redeeming family altars. You are releasing prayers buried by time and pain. And you are doing it not with noise, but with decisions, with posture, with unwavering surrender. God chose you not because you were loud, but because you were faithful when it cost everything. There is a sound forming around your life now, the sound of legacy being born, the sound of patterns being shattered, the sound of heaven applauding a soul that refused to give up. You are not stepping forward lightly. You are stepping forward with the full weight of divine inheritance, and you are walking out what those before you could only dream of. Yes, it will cost you. It will cost you comfort, complacency, and familiarity. But in return, it will crown you with clarity, with authority, with divine territory. You will no longer navigate life by reaction. You will move by revelation. You are not surviving anymore. You are leading. You are not waiting for alignment. You are commanding it. You are not repeating the pain of the past. You are constructing altars of future healing. Others may not understand the gravity of what you carry. That's because what you carry is ahead of your time. You are the future walking in the present. You are the answer, walking where others still see questions. Your obedience has set something in motion that cannot be reversed. What God has begun in you will outlive you. This is the weight of generational breakthrough. It is not about perfection. It is about presence. It is not about applause. It is about impact. You are not doing this for attention. You are doing this for eternity. The decisions you make now will echo into generations yet unborn, and heaven is watching, not with pressure but with pride. You have not missed it. You have become it. With great revelation comes sacred responsibility. You are not rising for applause. You are rising because heaven has entrusted you with weight, the kind of spiritual weight that shapes atmospheres, dismantles deception, and rebuilds foundations. This next level is not about pleasing people. It is about honoring the path God has carved for you through fire, silence, and divine delay. The waiting was not wasted. The loneliness was not punishment. It was consecration. While others sought visibility, God was sharpening your discernment in obscurity. He was teaching you the weight of no, the wisdom of withdrawal, the beauty of being misunderstood. As C.S. Lewis observed in The Problem of Pain, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pain. And in your pain he shouted with strategy, not to punish you but to position you, not to abandon you but to awaken you. The silence you endured was not the absence of God's love, it was the intensity of his preparation. What felt like heaven withholding was actually heaven weighing, measuring your capacity, strengthening your root system until you could hold the weight of glory without breaking, because now that very discernment is your shield. You no longer move by emotion, you move by insight. You no longer chase connection, you wait for confirmation. You have grown quiet enough to hear what noise used to drown out. What you now carry is rare, and rare things are not made for mass exposure. That's why God had to preserve you. That's why certain doors never opened, because what's on the other side wasn't worthy of what's inside of you. That's why certain people walked away, because their presence would have polluted your promise. Your rejection was your redirection. Your isolation was divine insulation. Heaven kept you hidden not to punish you but to protect the purity of what you carry. Now your spirit can recognize what your eyes used to miss. You sense when a room isn't right. You discern when a conversation carries compromise. And more importantly, you have learned to listen to the still, small voice that the world calls foolish, but heaven calls faith. You don't need clarity from people anymore. You walk in clarity from God. From this moment forward, discernment will become your divine gatekeeper. It will shield your peace. It will preserve your progress. It will separate what is good from what is God. You are not meant to absorb everything, you are called to filter. You are not required to explain your standards. They are sacred. Let them speak for you. This is your holy responsibility now, not to make everyone comfortable, but to honor the anointing. Not to gather approval, but to guard the assignment, and to remember always your obedience is the greatest offering you can bring to God. Everything else will follow. From this point forward, fear can no longer lead you. It may still whisper, but it will no longer govern. You are not forged in fear. You are forged in fire. The fire of trial. The fire of discipline. The fire of holy transformation. And now that the fire has refined you, you no longer need to hide from the smoke. You walk through it. You lead with it. Because the smoke is no longer confusion. It is the evidence of what you survived. You no longer dim your flame to keep others at ease. You no longer shrink your truth to avoid conflict. You are no longer afraid of being too much. You now understand the fire within you is not a flaw. It is the fingerprint of God. The very presence of heaven marked you with that flame. It's why people feel something shift when you speak. It's why atmospheres tremble when you walk in. You're not being dramatic. You're being divine. This next chapter will not wait for you to feel ready. It demands your full presence now. It does not require perfection. It requires participation. It requires you to show up even while shaking, to speak even while uncertain, to move even while the map is still unfolding, because you've walked long enough with God to know your feet are ordered even when your path is not visible. The preparation is complete. The hesitation must end. The fire is speaking. It's time to follow it. Your direction will no longer be based on fear of rejection, fear of failure, or fear of being misunderstood. Now you are led by conviction, by clarity, by covenant. The places where you once led with silence, you will now lead with sound. The rooms you used to tiptoe through, you will now walk in with dominion. The relationships where you used to compromise, you will now walk in truth, even if it costs you comfort. You are no longer surviving. You are advancing with the full force of heaven behind you. What once felt risky now feels holy. What once made you nervous now awakens your boldness. Because you are not moving forward in your own strength, you are moving in the fire of divine commissioning. And where the fire of God leads you, no fear can stand. This is not just the next day in your story. This is the beginning of your full divine expression, the unveiling of who you truly are, beneath the ashes of old roles, beyond the limits others placed on your voice, past the expectations you once carried like chains. What you are stepping into on Sunday, the 29th of June, is not survival, it is sacred embodiment. You are no longer reaching for who you were meant to be. You are now becoming it. You are walking into favor, not as a visitor, but as one who belongs. You are entering into purpose, not with hesitation, but with heavenly certainty. This season will not feel like effort, it will feel like alignment. The people you meet will not feel random. They will feel like divine assignment. The places you go will not feel accidental. They will feel like prophecy fulfilled. The vision within you will not feel burdensome. It will feel holy. The light now emanating from you is not borrowed. It was not handed to you by man. It was kindled by God in secret, in stillness, in places where no one applauded, but heaven watched. And now that light is bursting forth not to impress, but to illuminate, not to prove, but to activate, not to please crowds, but to please the one who called you. Everything that once felt like a burden is being transformed into a blessing. Everything that once looked like delay is being revealed as divine protection. The no that once broke your heart is now understood as heaven preserving your yes. You no longer grieve what didn't come. You give thanks for what never had the authority to stay. You were not created to wander in circles. You were born to carry glory. You were born to walk in dominion. You were born to reveal what heaven looks like in human form. And now heaven is confirming what your soul has always known, that this was never just about your potential. It was about your obedience. And that obedience is now colliding with opportunity. You will not have to force your way into rooms. Your presence will carry a sound, the sound of divine remembrance, the vibration of someone who knows who they are, the energy of someone who no longer compromises for survival. That sound will precede you. It will speak where your name has not yet been mentioned. It will open doors, soften hearts, and shatter delay. You are not entering this season timidly. You are arriving as the fulfilled prophecy. You are what prayers look like when they take form. You are what destiny looks like when it is no longer delayed. This is the hour of divine embodiment. You are not waiting for the light to come. You are the one carrying it forward. You are no longer required to explain your presence. You carry too much oil to plead for permission. The room must now adjust to what you carry. You are no longer entering spaces to be understood. You are entering to shift atmospheres. You are not here to be tolerated. You are here to be obeyed by the environment heaven has assigned to you. This is what happens when a soul walks fully in its calling. The room does not recognize it at first, but it cannot ignore it for long. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Reflections on the Psalms, "Don't shine so others can see you. Shine so that through you others can see him." This is not the glow of ego, it is the evidence of divine fire. The radiance surrounding you is not for applause, but for alignment. Your presence is not a performance, it is prophecy. You do not enter rooms to be noticed. You enter because heaven has sent you to shift the spiritual atmosphere. That light within you is not accidental. It is appointed. Some will celebrate you. Others will question you. Some will distance themselves because your rise unsettles their complacency. But you must not shrink to ease their discomfort. You were not chosen to maintain their equilibrium. You were chosen to disrupt what's dead. The old agreements, the ones you made with your past, your pain, your silence are broken. You are no longer bound to the promises you made while surviving. You are now moving with the breath of one who has been resurrected by truth. This new beginning was not given to you so you could preserve old patterns. It was given so you could walk in freedom boldly, unapologetically, prophetically. Not everyone will understand it. Some will call it pride. Some will call it change. But heaven calls it maturity, obedience, fulfillment, and heaven's word is final. You must be willing to be misunderstood for a while, because the version of you that Sunday, the 29th of June, has activated is ahead of its time. You are the future walking in present form. You are the advance notice. You are the signal that the old order is passing and the new has come. There is no room now for compromise, no room for convenience. What you carry demands that you stop negotiating with limitation. You are not here to win favor. You walk in it. You are not here to gain approval. You are the evidence of divine appointment. You are no longer adjusting your pace to fit people who were never meant to walk beside you. You are the one who sets the pace now. You are the one heaven has cleared the path for. And so walk tall, walk steady, walk with the dignity of one who knows that they were not simply delivered, they were commissioned. You are not a wanderer. You are not lost. You are the strategy of God in motion, and no one, not even you, can reverse what heaven has released. You will find no peace in the past. It served you, it shaped you, but it no longer defines you. The time has come to stop glancing backward for validation. What you are carrying now cannot be measured by what you survived then. You are not the wounded one anymore. You are not the one abandoned, silenced, or overlooked. You are the one anointed, the one called, the one awakened. The present is not just where your body stands, it's where your power has finally arrived. The full weight of your journey has matured into presence, clarity, and discernment. You no longer seek closure in broken places. You no longer chase connection out of emptiness. You no longer force what your spirit has outgrown. The fire that refined you has also released you. You are no longer trying to earn what heaven has already granted. You must understand this. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered. Your ideas are being remembered by people who once dismissed you. Your presence is now being requested not because you changed to fit their mold, but because you stayed loyal to your truth. The ones who couldn't carry your vision were never meant to carry your crown. Their doubt wasn't a delay. It was divine separation. It had to happen. It cleared your path. What you once called silence was strategy. What you thought was delay was development. What you endured as heartbreak was really heavenly repositioning. And now that the repositioning is complete, your steps can no longer be ordinary. They are ordered. Every move now carries weight. Every word now carries wind. Every decision now ripples beyond you. Sunday, the 29th of June, is not just when your season shifts, it's when your authority activates. The trauma that once tried to define you can no longer speak louder than the truth you now carry. You see it now. The rejection was redirection. The endings were divine entrances. The detours were designed. The breaking was building. All of it was heaven's way of carving out room for what you now have the strength to hold. And so you hold it, not with trembling hands but with rooted confidence. You are anchored not by external certainty, but by internal revelation. Your soul no longer needs proof because your spirit already knows. You are not walking into a new day. You are walking into the full revelation of your destiny. This is no longer about hope. It is about manifestation. What once lived only in your prayers is now materializing before your eyes. The very things that used to keep you awake at night wondering if they would ever arrive have now begun to move toward you with divine precision. Not because you chased them, but because heaven ordained them. But understand this is not a passive arrival. This is a divine unveiling, and you, chosen one, are the revelation. You are the evidence of God's covenant fulfilled in flesh. You are what endurance looks like when it matures into embodiment. And the moment your soul says yes without hesitation, the heavens respond without delay. This is what happens when obedience meets timing, when alignment meets release. Do not underestimate the years of preparation. Do not downplay the hidden seasons. Do not forget how many private altars you wept upon, how many battles you fought with no audience but God. Those moments were not wasted. They were constructing your spirit. Now, everything that was once quiet in you will begin to speak, not through performance, but through presence. Your essence will carry revelation. Your walk will carry confirmation. Your energy will carry authority. You have become a force, a quiet storm, a steady fire. And now, the world must adjust to who you truly are. Not the edited version, not the diluted version, the divine version, the version refined by silence, delivered by surrender, and confirmed by God's own breath. You are no longer waiting for purpose to find you. You are walking in it. You are no longer trying to become significant. You are moving with the knowing that you always were. And now the time has come for the earth to respond to what heaven has already decreed. This is not simply the unfolding of personal victory. This is the echo of prophecy fulfilled. You are the sound of generations breaking free, the rhythm of redemption marching forward, the voice of answered prayers, some of which weren't even yours, but belonged to those who came before you. And now through you, heaven is answering. When you become rare, the world reacts. Not everyone will celebrate you. Not everyone will understand you. Some will distance themselves, not because you've changed for the worse, but because your rise exposes what they were never willing to confront within themselves. But hear this clearly: you were never made to be familiar. You were created to be set apart. You were not called to blend in. You were chosen to break through, to shift atmospheres, to set new standards in a world that fears anything it cannot control. You carry a radiance that is not of this world. It cannot be dimmed to soothe insecurity. It cannot be explained to minds unwilling to perceive the spirit. This glow you carry is not arrogance, it is evidence. It is the divine residue of what you've survived, what you've surrendered, and what God has now entrusted you to steward. This next level is not about attention, it's about assignment. You do not radiate to attract the spotlight. You radiate because you've been lit from within by the fire of divine truth. That radiance carries weight. It carries a responsibility not to shrink back into old molds for the comfort of others, but to honor what God has placed upon your life without apology. You were not given this new beginning so you could walk backward into old agreements. You were given it so you could walk boldly into new authority. You are not here to resurrect what was familiar. You are here to build what is holy. There are conversations you will no longer entertain. There are invitations you must now decline. Because the version of you that Sunday, the 29th of June, has awakened is no longer accessible to anything misaligned with heaven. You must walk forward, knowing that misunderstanding is the price of early vision. You must embrace the temporary isolation that comes when your light grows faster than people's comfort zones. But do not dim. Do not descend to be understood. Stay high. Stay clear. Stay radiant. Your obedience is creating new pathways for others to rise. And though it costs you something, it is birthing something far greater. You are not just glowing, you are governing. You are not just shining, you are shifting. You are not just being seen, you are being sent. This is what happens when God breathes on the rare. They rise not just to be noticed, but to carry nations within them. Everything until now has prepared you for this moment. Not a single storm was wasted. Not a single tear was lost. Your process was not punishment, it was precision. Heaven carved the timeline with exactness, slowing your steps just enough to align your arrival with sacred timing. That timing is now. Sunday, the 29th of June, 2025, is not about finishing a race. It is about realizing that you were the race all along. You were never behind. You were being built. You were never overlooked. You were being hidden in holy incubation. And now what has been growing in secret is ready to move in power. This next phase does not require a new version of you. It requires the real version of you. The one that was buried beneath survival. The one that God preserved for such a time as this. Do not overanalyze the blessings. Do not second-guess the doors. Do not hesitate at the threshold. Your final yes is the ignition of divine execution. The season of waiting is over. The hour of walking has begun. Now everything aligns. Every piece finds its place. Every scar reveals its wisdom. Every no becomes a shield you didn't know you needed. Every delay becomes a gate to divine delivery. You will walk into rooms not to be seen but to shift. You will speak not to be heard but to awaken. You will carry an atmosphere that demands change not by force but by frequency. Because you are no longer searching for the light. You have become it. Your presence is no longer a question mark. It is a declaration. And the world must now adjust to the reality of who you are. You are not here to beg. You are here to build. You are not here to chase. You are here to command. You are not here to fit in. You are here to govern. You are not here to prove anything. You are here to fulfill everything. This shift is not seasonal. It is spiritual. It will not fade. It will multiply. And as you say yes to the full expression of who God created you to be, the earth will respond. The heavens will release, and legacy will begin to speak through you. This is not just the end of waiting. This is the beginning of walking in divine order. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are right on time. You are seen. You are sealed. You are sent. Welcome to your becoming. Welcome to your unveiling. Welcome to the hour heaven wrote with your name on it.